I remember my first conspiracy theory I saw was about the Illuminati. I don't know, I think there was something about it that just kind of wrecked my 11-year-old brain, that there could be a secret cabal of people that are like controlling everything that's happening. And it got me thinking, a few years later, which is present day now, I get on TikTok and I feel like I see a lot of conspiracy theories, but they're not really conspiracy theories. Like, take for instance this.
There's a creator on here, I'll tag her down below, that believes that there are portals at Walmart. And as far-fetched as that sound, I can 100% confirm that she is in fact right. I shared this story a while back on here, but for those of you guys who haven't heard, I'll give you a quick little rundown. I was working night shift around this time. On this day, I happened to get out of work early, which meant it was about 3 a.m. 3 a.m. was my favorite time to go grocery shopping because I knew there was no one at Walmart. So I pulled up to the Walmart parking lot. There's no other cars there, which was a little odd, but I didn't really think much of it because it was 3 a.m. As I'm making my way out of my car and walking towards the entrance, these three ladies just randomly appear out of nowhere. They just started walking in with me. Thought it was a little weird, but at first I'm like, well, maybe they just walked here, or I don't know. And I looked over at these three females. They looked as if they had crawled out of a sewer. Like, it was something that I had never seen before. But again, wasn't gonna judge. I decided to kind of just go my way and then went their way. I see one at the corner of my eye come around and goes, there she is. The minute she said that, the other two started to laugh, but this like eerie laugh, and I kicked into like a fight or flight mode where I knew that I was in danger and I needed to get as far away from these people as I possibly could. I decided to run to the front of the store where the cash register person had been when I walked in, but when I went over there was no one in sight. I ended up just throwing my cart to the side, like whatever I was buying could wait, and I decided to run for the front door. As I'm running out, I see these three ladies like following me.
Now, this woman is claiming that there's portals in Walmart, but if anything, she just explained a 3 a.m. Walmart visit. There was no conspiracy about it. So I'm gonna explain a theory from the past that I really enjoyed. And then I'm gonna explain a theory that's locally here in Nebraska. And then a theory I think on TikTok that is actually pretty well thought out. So yeah, without further ado, roll the intro.
Brunch Patty, Brunch Patty, whoa. The Brunch Patty, whoa. The Brunch Patty, whoa.
Like I said in the beginning of the video, we're going way back into the past. Think January 2012-ish. This group emerges called Cicada 3301. This theory is fire, but here's why. So there was one big objective for this group, and that was to find highly intelligent individuals. But I'll get a little bit into more of why it's a theory and why it's so freaking cool. Up until 2014, this group would have all types of challenges in many different facets, all types of forums, in person, not in person, online, all these things. And they would range in a wide array of subjects, from anywhere to literature, to cryptography, to philosophy. And these challenges were meant to test individuals to see if they were the person that they were looking for. So the initial puzzle was actually started on 4chan. It was a black and white image that you would have to pretty much find an embedded coded message within. And from there, it would send you through a complex amount of web tasks for you to complete. And that was your testing ground. Cryptograph techniques, which is utilizing methods like Caesar cipher, RSA, encryption, and TOR network. Sonograph, decoding a hidden message embedded within images and audio files. Literary references, analyzing texts from authors such as William Blake and Ariester Coley. And real-world clues, discovery QR codes, posters in cities like Warsaw or Seattle. At 2014, this group went radio silent. It's just stating, pretty much anything illegal that happened during the process of looking for these people had nothing to do with Cicada 3301. And lastly, we found who we're looking for. Thank you for your participation. And that's it. We haven't heard from the group since. The theories that stem from this are the fact that we have no idea what this group main goal was. Could it be intelligence agents? Was this like basically an application for some sort of intelligence group like a CIA? Was it a private cybersecurity group? Could it be ARG, which is an alternate reality game? I will tell you to look it up for yourself, but pretty much They use real world things. They built this whole world just for a game. So it's kind of like, I don't know, booting up Call of Duty, but you're in real life. And lastly, could it be a cult or secret society? And they're planning something soon. But that's the thing. It's all a theory. Nobody has the answer. And we won't know until it becomes fact. If they never show up again, we will never know. That was my first and favorite theory of the past. But let's get a little bit more personal. I'm talking about where I grew up and the theory that's surrounding this crazy park. So I lived in Nebraska about all my life. This park, it has a lot of lore behind it, but I just wanted to give this quick disclaimer. So there's going to be a lot of touchy subjects, one including prejudice, a lot of subjects about racism, and I just wanted to put that up there. So if this is something like you don't necessarily like to hear about, I understand. Just letting you know ahead of time. But yeah, good old Omaha, Nebraska behind me. Hummel Park has been subject to so many theories, so many conspiracies, and I think it's better I just go there and show you. So, come on. Okay, so I specifically wanted to come to this part of Hummel Park because rumor has it that these trees that go over the street actually have a really dark history to them. So for those of you that don't know, sorry, there's a ton of bugs in here. Nature, But Nebraska is very rich in racism history, but it was said and believed that a lot of the Nebraska injustices of racism, i.e. lynching, happened here at this park. And so some of the lore is the fact that the trees kind of hang over, kind of make this bridge, is due to many years and many generations suffering the same fate of being a lynching tree. Now, while this theory could be very plausible and all that, I think another thing that we have to account for is the fact that this is a bluff. This whole park is on a bluff, which a lot of people don't realize. So like even like looking over here, and I'll show it on screen right now, it's like a very steep decline into like a valley pretty much. And all these dang bugs flying at your face. Yeah, after years of Earth being Earth and doing what it needs to do, a lot of these trees do tend to kind of sink into the same valley effect. We just happen to make a street before all this valley effect came to this specific road.
It feels, I don't know, it feels eerie because like the trees are hanging over. Of course it's lighter now, but like the trees are hanging over, and I don't like that. Any park that has like the trees hanging over instead of like going straight up, it's not, it makes me feel uncomfortable. But I mean, as I was driving, I had some music going because I didn't feel comfortable just driving in silence. No. I've heard stories, okay? I've heard stories.
Do you think you would have felt uncomfortable had you not heard the stories?
No, I think I would have just thought this was just a regular park.
Another piece of this park conspiracy theory is that there's actually a satanic cult here. Well, two cults. And this is a little bit about that prejudice piece I was talking about. And one belief is that there's actually a cult of albino people that live here. No real claim for that, no real thing to attach that to, but that's there. But the other thing is that they believe it was a satanic cult and that satanic rituals are often performed here. This piece of the park is actually very famous. In 1933, there was a radio repairman that was killed here at this park. In 1983, there was a woman and 2 children that were beaten to death here in this park. But the most recent one is why this part of the park is so famous. In 2005, Amber Harris went missing for a couple months, and her remains were found here in a trash can in this part of the park.
Death rocked Omaha. 10 years later, people still remember the name Amber Harris. She disappeared in November 2005. After months of looking for any sign of her, searchers found her remains in Hummel Park. Her killer is now on death row. Since then, her family has worked to keep other families from going through that same pain.
So needless to say, there's actually some needless to say, there's some oh my God, I'm moving. Needless to say that this park, while it does have a lot of mysteries behind it, it does actually have a really dark history. Oh my gosh, it's about to start raining. So here's my last little tidbit. I don't think I got to these, but there's some staircases that are similar to the ones I just showed you on the screen. There's another theory out there that there's a morphing staircase.
74. Being an original feature of the park, the stairs had long since fallen into disrepair, with many of the stones crumbling or gone. Given the dilapidated condition, it was easy enough to see why the counts were inconsistent.
To this day, people still climb the morphing stairs in Hummel,
If you have a vivid imagination, you can scare yourself.
hoping they'll find the real number and maybe something more.
The section of the video where I show you that it's good to be skeptical, you know? With all these conspiracy theories, yes, some of them could be true, even though they're crazy and outlandish, but others are very easily explained. For instance, with the staircase, if someone tells you something's going to be wrong, you're going to only look for the wrong, even if the right hits you right in the face. So people will count the stairs going up, and then they'll count it wrong going back because they expect that the stair count is supposed to be wrong instead of just simply counting. So yeah, I would say that just for this section is just to be skeptical. There's always something that can be proved wrong or proven right. Yo, and welcome back. Yo, and welcome to the Brunch Baddie Wall section of the video. Before we get started on this section, I just wanted to ask something of you. So simply leave a like. That's it. That's all. And you know what? I gotta tell you a sad story real quick. So I was at 149 subscribers, and then I dropped down to 148. And I don't know who this subscriber was, but I'm gonna just name her Charlene. So if you could just simply subscribe and replace Charlene's spot until she comes back, that would be great. Okay, on to this last section. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, okay? So I said at the beginning of the video something along the lines of like how the first theory didn't necessarily have any legs to it. This one's got legs to it. I don't think it has legs to it, more so I just like the universe built around it. And I'll get into more what I mean. This theory is the elevator game. And pretty much what happens is you do this game by...
Would you get on an elevator to another dimension? Because there's a game that claims you can, but you have to follow the rules perfectly. It's called the elevator game, and here's how you do it. But I will suggest that you shouldn't try this, just in case. The first thing you do is find a building with at least 10 floors and a working elevator. And you have to do this alone, which makes it that much scarier. Now, according to the rules, you have to press the buttons in this exact order. And here's where it gets really scary. Once you reach the 5th floor, there will be a woman that gets on the elevator with you, and it's very important that you do not look at her, and do not speak to her either. Now after all that, you have to press 1, and the elevator may take you down, but if it takes you up, you've entered the other world. Now supposedly everything in this world will look like our world, but it will feel really off. And if you don't leave the correct way, you may get stuck there. So how do you get back to our world? To get back, you have to follow these instructions very closely. So if you did press 1 and the elevator went up and you're in the other world, don't panic. They say you may feel dizzy, your electronics won't work, everything's gonna feel weird, there may be red lights outside, and everything's just really eerie. So to get back, you have to press the buttons in the reverse order. And some versions even say you have to go back to the 1st floor. Now if the elevator starts going up again instead of the 1st floor, you have to press any button to cancel it because you can't have any interruptions before you get back to the 1st floor. When you do get to the 1st floor, make sure everything looks normal and feels back to normal before you get off the elevator.
The game was sadly started by a weird death. it was like a mystery death. The name of the lady was Elisa Lamb, and the footage is just her on the elevator. Looks like she's going through something. She's like, it doesn't look like she's actually there. And then later on, she was found unalived in, I think it was a water treatment container. And the hotel people were like, we have no idea how she got up there. Yeah. And then insert this game, the elevator game. So people went based off of that, saying that she was actually experiencing a different dimension. Now, I'm not one big on minimizing or completely counting out, mental health crises. So, it's a little dicey, but I think it was more of a mental health crisis than anything. But the thing is, with this whole elevator game, there's actually a lot of accounts of
was to enter from the first floor, which you will. Right, so the lift was 0. Let's see what happens. This is revisited because, again, we don't have 10 stories, but that's fine if the spirits, that's me, hello. So enter from the first floor.
me personally. I feel like this theory / conspiracy / paranormal, whatever you want to call it, it's just fun. Like it's a cool concept, minus the tragedy. But I don't know. There's something like, I feel like this could be a movie. Outtakes. If you were wondering what all that sound was in the beginning, if it picked up, I don't know. I put the wind filter on. They're building a library here. I think this is a library. But it's supposed to like completely affect the skyline. I'm on the rooftop right now, so I'm talking really fast because I don't know if the cops are gonna get called on me. But yeah, I'm risking it for the biscuit, getting that good content, the stuff you want to see, blah blah blah. All right, I'm out. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my documentary if you haven't. I'm trying to get it to 1,000 views. I have said in the last video, I think we're at like 478. We weren't that far. But yeah, I'm trying to get there. Spread it, share it to somebody. Anyway, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for checking me out. See you in the next video.